guys, what's up? This is GVKCollectibles, and so today I'm actually going to do something completely different. So this is actually going to be kind of an off video comparative to videos from other weeks. And that is just mainly because I am going to be talking about the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer. It's been out for about a week, and holy crap, it's gotten a lot of buzz around it, which is really cool and really awesome to see, especially for me as a Godzilla fan. Especially because this film has been, originally was supposed to come out in 2020, November. It was actually supposed to come out in March 2020, then it got pushed back, then it continuously got pushed back because of COVID-19. Luckily the film got finished, but it was just like, when are we going to get this film, or when are we going to get this trailer? And we got it last Sunday, and holy crap, it... probably the best MonsterVerse trailer, I think. Well, next to, I think, the original test footage for the Godzilla trailer, with the Oppenheimer speech. That one is a really, really solid trailer too. But man, this trailer was super excited. I was super excited to see. It was well worth the wait, and I think we were generally, a lot of people, kaiju fans, especially Godzilla vs. Kong fans, we were hyped for this film. But it was just like there were really no information coming out, just because I think Warner Brothers and Legendary, they didn't want to play their hand too off early, because all the marketing that they would have to do, they'd have to make that back up. So this trailer was well worth the wait, in my opinion. I just wanted to give you some of my thoughts and what maybe the story what the story is going to be about within the film itself. So first things first, we know that it seems like Godzilla is being portrayed as a villain, and that's the thing, and Kong's being shifted into being like a hero role, which is very interesting because these characters within the MonsterVerse are very, very similar. They're both the last of their species. They're kind of like a warrior kind of. They are protectors, to say the least. Godzilla, protector of pretty much the world, and Kong of Skull Island, which makes definitely sense. So it's kind of weird to see, and especially for me when they were leaning to doing the Versus late movie, I was excited, but ultimately I was kind of skeptical as to see how how it would work out, how the dynamic would work out, because technically both these characters are very they're good monsters, even though they're both guardians essentially of Earth. So my interesting thing is, so there was a popular theory going around that the Godzilla that we see throughout the whole trailer isn't really Godzilla, and that is actually this video, I think, I will say it does contain possible spoilers for the story. Granted, I have no idea. I haven't read any of the leaks or whatsoever, because there was some leaked, I think, like a leaked script apparently, and I know nothing about it just because I want to go into this movie completely blind in terms of the story. But the popular theory is that the Godzilla that we see throughout the trailer isn't really Godzilla and is in fact Mechagodzilla, which was kind of confirmed because of the end credits for King of the Monsters. They do mention that there is a mechanical titan on Skull Island at the time, so yeah, that would definitely make sense. But why Godzilla? Mainly just because I don't think we're seeing Mechagodzilla throughout the whole movie, and the real Godzilla shows up at the last moment, or whenever. I think it would be kind of false advertising on their part to do Godzilla vs. Kong, because you don't have the real Godzilla, it's just Mechagodzilla vs. Kong, which is very interesting. But I can see people thinking that theory, and it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. That's how Mechagodzilla first appeared in the original franchises. He was masquerading as Godzilla, kicked the crap out of Anguirus, and eventually the real Godzilla showed up to show him, hey, you're not me. So it's very interesting, and it's also kind of cool to see something that I've been wanting to see throughout the whole with Mechagodzilla. I really love Mechagodzilla being used as a weapon for humanity. I think it's really cool. It's really well done. I think in the Heisei films, it's really done in the Kiryu saga. I think Kiryu is probably one of my, aka Mechagodzilla 3, one of my favorite designs, one of my favorite backstories for the character in particular, where it is built on the construction of the original Godzilla skeleton, which is really cool, and it has a lot of cool story implications. Now, there's a thing, though, and it's really cool to see this Mechagodzilla kind of be coming back as a villain, to say. It's really awesome to see that finally again, because I felt like the character started out as a villain for the films. Granted, he was built by aliens in the original, but I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with Mechagodzilla. I'm excited to see the character in motion, even though we get to see a little snippet of it. So we don't know how exactly Mechagodzilla will play out in the role. I ultimately think Mechagodzilla will appear roughly maybe in the middle of the film to the end of the film, just because Godzilla is because there's later in the trailer for the map, there's a map where of all the places Godzilla's attacking, and he is attacking specific locations, so something's going on that maybe the building of Mechagodzilla pissed him off, and he sees it as a threat to the balance of nature. Which I think is going forth, because I don't think they're trying to portray Godzilla as a villain. I think there's something going on, which is really cool, because we're actually going to get two sides of the story. We're going to get the Kong side of the story, along with his humans that he's known for, and also we're going to get Godzilla's side with Madison clearly seeing, hey, something's up with Godzilla, which is really, really cool. So, yeah, that's what I think is going on with Godzilla. So, let's get back to Kong. So, Kong is clearly being taken off Skull Island, and this is the first time. And also, I want to say, Kong is huge in this. Granted, I wasn't really surprised that they would make him that big, just because, you know, he's got to be big enough to fight Godzilla, and he was relatively small in Kong Skull Island. And they even state, hey, he's just a teenager in Skull Island, so he's going to grow continuously. But there's going to be a lot of cool, interesting things that we're probably going to be going. We're going to be going into the Hollow Earth. I was definitely saw in the trailers of where maybe Godzilla, he gets his axe, and we'll get more backstory of Godzilla. Maybe there is a war, as they're said in the trailer, there was a war between them. So there was a Titan war, assumingly between Godzilla and Kong species, and granted, they're the last one standing, of course, so that's clearly going to be there, and that's where Kong ultimately gets the axe, which looks freaking cool, because it was we were speculating for the longest time of, like, is this Godzilla's dorsal fin, because we ultimately think, oh, he was going to make this, but it seems like the weapon is much older than Kong, which is kind of cool, and he finds it within the Hollow Earth. The Hollow Earth looks super, super cool. It gives me a lot of, especially when Kong is fighting giant war bats, aka the Nozozuki, which is what it was originally known in the marketing for, like, the Playmates toys. That it looks really cool. Very much reminds me of, like, kind of a little bit of Peter Jackson's Skull Island, of how the environment was set up in that film. So it's really, really cool. I love the look of the Hollow Earth. I'm very excited to see what we get within the Hollow Earth, because they have been playing that up since the Kong Skull Island, and then they did a little bit more with it in Godzilla vs. King of the Monsters, which was really, really cool, especially with the ancient race of Hollowed Earth humans that worship the Titans. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see where we go with it. And it's also kind of cool, too, going back with Kong, where Kong actually has a kind of link to humans as opposed to Godzilla. Even though, like, you could say Madison is that link she's kind of the successor to Dr. Serizawa in this film, of where she is kind of like a champion, essentially like a hype man for Godzilla, which is pretty cool, I think. It's also going to be cool because there's going to be, like, on the side with those characters, we're going to get quite a bit with human plot, which I think is really going to be cool. It's going to have multiple kind of sides of the story, where we see Madison, and I think the character's name is Joss Valentine, basically explored, like, kind of wondering what the hell's going on with Godzilla. Why is he attacking people? Because he had not attacked people previously. Even though, like, it's weird, like, he attacks the bridge, but he never really directly attacked. He never really directly hurted anybody. He was just more like the humans were in the way, so that kind of happens. But there's a lot of cool, interesting things. I'm going to be very interesting to see if Godzilla sets foot at all on Skull Island. I think that would be really cool. That's something I've been wanting to see. But I am very excited to see what we're going to see in Kong Skull Island. So we're going to see on Skull Island itself. So we're going to see Kong eventually go down there. Then maybe we get some kind of prophecy, very much like Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the original, of where we have, like, there's a great, like, a monster that will come to destroy, and it's portrayed as Godzilla, but in actuality, it's really Mechagodzilla, which I love. I love Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and I would love to see that kind of storyline brought into mainstream. I think people will enjoy, like, I really enjoyed that. Once again, I don't think Mechagodzilla is not going to be a major part of the film up until maybe the middle or the last act of the film, because we're going to get that big Hong Kong battle in the middle at night. Then it cuts the day, and I think that's ultimately when Mechagodzilla gets activated, and ultimately Godzilla and Kong team up to fight him. Now, which side am I on? I love both these characters, especially their MonsterVerse incarnations, Kong's especially, because I think he has had the most development, especially within the comic books, saying that he was essentially like a orphan child, which is really, really cool, and I don't think that's ever really ever been shown in any other media when talking about the character. Usually without the 1933 and 1976, even the 2005, it always is shown that he is the last of his species. Well, relatively 1933, because there is Son of Kong, of course. But I think it's a really cool idea to have this kind of, like, this really, really great backstory for Kong. It's probably one of my favorite backstories, and it's really cool that they got to explore it within the MonsterVerse films. And it's kind of cool, too, because after this, like, the MonsterVerse is going to continue. There's going to be an animated series, too, done by the same people who did Castlevania, which I think is phenomenal. Like, I think that is great to do. Probably going to be set before Kong Skull Island. I would kind of hope it's going to be focusing on the crew of the Wanderer, which is essentially the original crew from, like, it is a reference to the 1933 movie that, oh yeah, they went to Skull Island, but they never left, which is cool. So, other thoughts about the trailer. I'm very excited to see the human drama. I'm very excited to see why Kong is visually so special to it. Like, I wonder of where they have to take him off the island, and there's just a lot of cool visuals and stuff. But the camera's about to cut out real quick, so I will be right back to continuously talk about Godzilla vs. Kong. Hey guys, I'm back. So, I'm very excited to see why Kong is being taken off Skull Island. I ultimately think there is going to be kind of like a prophecy-esque kind of thing going on. Very much like Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, where we assume, oh, Godzilla is going to be the destroyer of the world, essentially, and Kong is the last hope. But in reality, they'll help each other, very much like Godzilla and King Caesar do to defeat Mechagodzilla in the original film. Now, this is all just speculation on my point. I have no idea how the story is going to play out. I'm very interested to see how it's going to play out. There's also another interesting thing, too, I wanted to talk about, and that is Mechagodzilla himself. So there's a theory going around that Mechagodzilla is actually built from the skeleton of Dagon, aka Dagon was the creature is the Godzilla species that was found in the cave in the original Godzilla, 2014 Godzilla, and was later expanded upon in Godzilla Aftershock. I think this is a cool idea because it ultimately it's probably one of my favorite uses of the origin of Mechagodzilla, of Mechagodzilla being built around the skeleton of Mechagodzilla. Now, the origin isn't too crazy in comparison to like some of the other ones where the original Mechagodzilla, is built by aliens from outer space. I think it'll be very cool to see that maybe that's ultimately the reason why Mechagodzilla is destroying like people, but he's specifically attacking specific facilities, Apex facilities. Now, we don't know too much about Apex. All that we know is Apex cybernetics, so they deal with robots, of course, and also there's going to be a specific character that's actually going to be, and that is Ren Serizawa, aka the son of Dr. Serizawa. Now, Ren Serizawa hasn't been really brought up in any of the other MonsterVerse, not even in 2014, and not even really King of the Monsters, but he was introduced in the script for the novelization of King of the Monsters. And I think it's ultimately going to be very interesting to see where Ren Serizawa sits, because ultimately I thought, oh, he's going to be a successor, he's going to continue his dad's work, but like in the trailer, it kind of positions him at, he doesn't like Titans, and he thinks they're bad, so he's actually probably the guy who actually helps Apex construct Mechagodzilla, which is going to be very, very interesting to see, and very cool. So I hope there are scenes where like this character, I feel like he will be very much like a kind of Katsura kind of character from Terror of Mechagodzilla, of where he's used as this weapon, but he actually, you know, like maybe people will help him out. Like Madison, I would like to think will help him out. Mark Russell is also back, of course, from Monarch. He doesn't seem to be retired anymore. I think he's going to be taking a more active role back into Monarch, especially like when Godzilla lands in Pensacola at that point in the trailer. Now, we don't know why, and he's kind of ultimately, he has the journal of Serizawa, so he's kind of the successor, and he kind of knows a lot more about Godzilla now, as opposed to in King of the Monsters, where he just straight up hated Godzilla. So I think that is it's kind of an interesting point to see, hey, maybe Godzilla, like, to see him be able to kind of put past what happened. And he did that within King of the Monsters to know, like, Godzilla was really the only thing that could stop King Ghidorah. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that is portrayed. It's going to be very interesting to see if there's ever a revelation of Josh Valentine finding out that Madison Russell's mom was Emma, who basically constructed trying to end the world with Titans. So I think it'll be very interesting. I'm very excited about like the dual sides of the story. The Kong side, the humans dealing with Kong on the one side, and we have the humans dealing with Godzilla on the other side. The story looks a lot more. Not that I dislike the King of the Monsters story, but it seems to be a lot more better, and it seems to be a lot more fun. I like the road trip aspect that we see within with Madison and Josh Valentine's character, which I think is going to be very interesting, and also everything going on with Kong. The interesting thing too is of the little girl. I think her name is Jiren. Jin, I believe. I will put the correct what her actual name is. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna look it up so there'll be a cut real quick. The character will be Gia, and she seems to have a kind of connection with Kong, very much like how the Mothra and her fairies have that relationship where they're able to communicate and maybe understand each other, which I think is really, really cool, and it could also expand on the Hollow Earth theory, and even. Plus, we also know that there are several characters from King of the Monsters that will be returning, Mark Russell being clearly one of them, Madison being another, and also Dr. Chen will be back too. We haven't seen her in the trailers yet, so it's going to be very interesting to see what the capacity of her role is going to be. I think it would be kind of cool to see if we got a retooled version of the initial end credit for King of the Monsters. So essentially, with King of the Monsters, before the end credit with Ghidorah and Jonah Allen, there was ultimately going to be Dr. Chen and her sister going to be in Tokyo and go into a Monarch facility that is covered in vines, and also her twins are there to basically show the rebirth of Mothra, to see they had a deeper connection, probably with the Hollow Earth in general, and they had a deeper connection with the Titans themselves, which leads it open to doing really cool things within the future of the MonsterVerse, especially since MonsterVerse is in fact continuing with that Kong Skull Island the animated series, which I think is great. So that makes me wonder if Gia is actually is a descendant of the Hollow Earth, people from the Hollow Earth, which would be very interesting because that is going to be a big focus and emphasis on this series. Now, are any other Titans going to make an appearance? We know Skullcrawlers will be making an appearance again, clearly because of what we've seen in the marketing for the toys and everything. The War Bats, which look really cool, really cool. I was always kind of curious of how they were going to work, if they were going to be a lot more snake-like, but they seem to be like kind of a floating kind of thing, and they're really coolly designed. We also got these little kind of like hail bats, I think of what they're called, probably related to Camelot, who is going to be the main bad guy in the Kong graphic novel that will be a tie-in to this, so it's going to be very interesting to see. Ultimately, I'm super excited about this. I think it was about Godzilla vs. Kong. This is just me rambling on about how cool the trailer was. Ultimately, giving my thoughts and theories of this trailer. Ultimately, I do think Godzilla and Kong are going to team up against Mechagodzilla at the end of the film, and hopefully they just both have a mutual understanding of each other to say, hey, you know, be best friends, essentially. That's what I want. That's always how I pin crossovers whenever it's like a versus, especially if it's between two characters I like. I'm like, well, I want them to fight, but at the same time, I want them to be friends because they have a lot in common essentially. So I'm very excited to see this film. I don't know if I'll be able to see it in theaters by the time it comes out. I don't think I'll be ready, but luckily with HBO Max, it'll be out and I can watch it from my home. I'm going to watch it on the biggest screen I possibly can, which is downstairs, of course, so lucky for me. So once again, I think that's it for pretty much this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I mean, it is very different in comparison. I think I'm going to be uploading this. This will be an upload on Tuesday, just because I think it's just a fun. It's just a fun little video that I decided to do, and I think it's just it's just fun. So I just wanted to give my thoughts. I kind of want to do more videos like this of where I give my thoughts on movies and films. Kind of update the schedule a little bit. Maybe add another video, maybe, but yeah. So if you guys like the video, I hope you hit subscribe and hopefully hit the little bell notification so you get notified when videos kind of like this one little one-off video, and like Mythical Mountain Mondays, Figure Review Fridays, What's in the Box Wednesdays, and also like special Saturday videos that we usually sometimes do. Also, make sure to hit the like button. We really do appreciate it. We do have fun just making videos like this. I really have a fun time doing it. And also check us out on Instagram. I'm GVKCollectibles, of course, and you can also check out my brother at Jack's Pop Guy. Check us out on our respective Mercari shops, and because the links will be right down below. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you Friday for Figure Review Friday. Peace.